Welcome everyone to episode 6 of the BNSF Fall River Division. We are starting here in an area that I've extended from Calhoun. So we've basically got a single track run, 2 staging, made some modifications. Really never liked how I ended the route with the river crossing, 2 tracks, etc. and decided to go ahead and let's extend like 5 baseboards for one scene. We've basically come out of Cicero staging, Chicago area staging, however you want to call it, and are heading railroad west towards Fall River. Still a lot of terrain forming to do here, but got enough down to do a video. We got a dairy here on the right hand side out here in Calhoun, agricultural country. So found a nice asset by Dave Snow on the download station, plopped that down, fit real nice. And here you can see where some of the changes are based on the last route update. So this used to be double track, 2 staging off to our left here. I've taken one of those tracks out and that's extended that east. And this one will remain and be just a much smaller staging yard. So the idea is that you've got convergence of 2 different subdivisions here back at Calhoun. The one will head north here into this staging yard, which will be primarily bulk traffic, grain, ethanol, etc., with the majority of the actual mainline traffic continuing east towards the staging yard where that Amtrak train just departed from. So put number 20 crossovers in here, change some of the signaling up, and have started to add details around this interlocking, which was just really kind of the end of the model portion of the route. So it'll be heavy in farmland, not many people. Have started to lay some roads and some details. You can see here with this is a little thing I picked up off Google Maps. It's just these little pieces of gravel out to the side of paved roads. So taking some inspiration of Iowa and specifically in the Creston area, which is a BNSF crew change today for a lot of coal and grain traffic. But really just started putting grass down, and so I think it's time we look at the rest of the route. So here we're all the way on the other side of the route at this point. So we started the video off there at Deckers, and just east of that at Calhoun and Chicago staging. So we're actually coming out of the Pacific Northwest staging and into the first modeled portion of the route, which is Richland. So Richland, bordered by CP Lake here on the west side, is a crew change point, and really represents the end of the Fall River Division and the end of the Kimber subdivision here on the west end of the route. So we've got a manifest train here pulling in off Main 2 for a crew change, with some existing traffic here in the yard. I redesigned this here a little bit, and initially I was going to do some light switching and decided to just punt on all of that and just really make it a place where maybe one train's built, maybe there's a little bit of block swapping, but it's primarily pull in, change crews, keep going, or sit if you're that manifest train there for higher priority traffic. So Richland does have an Amtrak station, a downtown, put down some shopping centers here. Need to really get back to it and finish the town area. There's some assets I've recently downloaded, need to plop those down, fill the area out so it really comes to life. We're continuing east here towards the Auburn area. As you'll see here on the flyover, Auburn is heavy industry. You could really spend an hour, 2 hours switching in Auburn. Right now I'm using a mix of short line and BNSF locomotives to do the switching, but there's a ton going on here. The primary industry is going to be a stone customer, Rockman gravel, and you'll see it being worked here live on the video. But we've got a little short line crew working some of the other industries with the BNSF job, working Rockman gravel, loading them as aggregate hoppers. But really love this area and the camera angle here is disastrous. I really don't know what I was doing, to be honest with you, but the most of the model portion here is actually to the left of the camera, and we've got a steel receiver, a shipper of perishable fruit. We've got a small paper mill and a chemical receiver, and I think that rounds out the industries in Auburn. I think I missed one or two, which you'll see here as we move around. But next time I do this, do a different camera angle. The default one ended up not working out here. So as we exit, you'll see Rockman Gravel. That's where those two BNSF SD75Ms are working. We've got a scrap customer here, which was one of the ones I forgot, as well as just a small little bulk transfer station there right before we come back to the main line here at Rocky Junction. So Rocky Junction, still a lot to do here scenery-wise. So we're just jumping ahead here to the area around Black Diamond Mine. So we've got actually two coal trains in here right now, one UP, one BNSF. There is an autoloader, so you will be able to load trains here, and then head east towards Fall River. There's no great way to head west out of here outside of pulling out, and then basically run a train, headed back west towards Richland. But cool little scene, heavily detailed on John's model railroad. Here you can see a slightly different view with that BNSF train moving in. Really have tried to add a ton of detail here in terms of grasses and fill the area in. Change the road design a little bit to create that barrier with that overpass, and really like how that came out as we headed here through what I affectionately call the Rock Ridge, which is just a scene divider, really, as we head and continue west towards Kimber and eventually Fall River. We're not heading west at all. What am I talking about? We're heading east. This whole looking backwards thing, tried it this time. Not sure how I feel about it. Y'all let me know how you feel about it. May just do a frontward camera next time, so one, I can keep my bearing straight, and then two, as a viewer, you can keep your bearing straight. So we are headed railroad east here this entire video, coming up on just Control Point Ardmore. No industries in this area, and as we head towards Kimber, which is the next major switching point, and is also the town that this current subdivision is named after. So Kimber's, as I said, next major switching point on the subdivision. It's also where the UP joins from Pacific Northwest. I call it Hinkle, Brooklyn, Oregon, wherever you want to call it, but crosses the BNSF here west of town, and then loops here to the right of the camera, north of the BNSF main, eventually entering in Jordan Junction here on the east side of town. So few industries, small yard. The town is probably, I'd say, 70% done. 80% need to develop the riverfront area and add some details around the parking lots of like the Aldi, the bank, the shopping center. And then also to the right, I've put a river down. John's actually recently finished this whole area. When I first started the route, it was not complete, and so this river to the north side of the tracks, I think I'm going to ditch it and just build a deeper scene for those industries that exist there in Kimber, but time will tell. We're up here in a crater loop. Really no major changes here. It stayed the same. It's an iconic portion of the route where it's about a 2.1% grade that trains climb over themselves to reach overlook, which is as we head towards the summit of the mountains here on the route. We go back to a really long passing siding, so you can fit 2 trains in either track, on the main end and the siding. And you've also got a small interchange with the MRL that heads off there to the back scene, which needs to be completely gutted. I've got some backdrops up. They just need to come down, extend the scene, and probably put a tunnel in to make it clean. But really, that whole area over there by MRL Junction just needs a gut. This area, I just can't come back to it yet. There is scenery down. I don't love it. Haven't touched it in a while. Here as we're between west and east overlook, headed towards snow sheds 1 and 2. As you can see, decent amount of grid here with the mountain area. This will probably be the last thing I come back and do. I have a decent amount of inspiration from rewatching Stevens Pass, Mariah's Pass videos here in the last year, but just not ready to come back. Not a lot of switching here. You're just kind of running. You're not necessarily moving trains quickly, through the mountains. So I'll come back, hopefully get some iconic scenes. I've started to try and move the river, and half started, which means you didn't finish, and it just looks weird now as we are about to head over into Winston. So here now at Sage, I skipped over talking about Winston and Wits End because my last video was basically an entire update on all the scenery there and everything that was done. So if you want to go check that out, it's episode 5 on my channel as we continue here east. Sage is the last town before we reach Fall River, a little suburban area, decent amount of industry, distribution centers, as we have a UP empty reefer train headed back west after delivering perishables on the East Coast. So we come into Fall River, which is, I'd say, by far my favorite area of the route. A ton going on here between Amtrak Union Station, UP trains coming in and out, and then really the hub of switch traffic for the entire division. you've got multiple subdivisions coming in here and just a ton going on. So off to the right is the intermodal terminal. For those of you who haven't really been in the channel before, seen any videos, so we've got an intermodal terminal out here to the right, which is pretty decent size. I've modeled it similar to the BNSF terminal in Minneapolis, St. Paul. We've got Union Station over here to the left, UP main, 3 BN mains, and then the actual switching terminal here, which we're hovering over. So right now we're hovering over the forwarding and receiving yard, so it's dual operation. The 3 tracks can be used as forwarding and receiving yards. There's no dedicated yard, and it's all flat switching. Got a small car shop which is focused on repairing and maintenance of the BNSF reefer fleet, an engine servicing facility, not necessarily overhaul, but ton of fun to switch cars, yard trains, etc. as we head out here on the west side of the yard, with an intermodal heading in and a switch job waiting for trains to enter before it continues its duties here on the pullback side. So here in Great Plains, really no changes to the scenery. I've been messing around with this little local job and automating all the switching, which finally overcame the last quirk. So this locomotive actually, this little Jeep 40, completely switches out the entire industrial park, and then brings its cut into to Fall River into the yard. Cuts away and returns. So that was a lot of little tweaking, which I should cover at some point, because I learned a lot of lessons about the AI and switching, especially in tight quarters. But more to come there. We're leaving the Great Plains Industrial Park, which comes in here over on the east side of Fall River, and headed back east towards Chicago and towards where we started the video in Calhoun. Beware of the tree. So UP Main is crossed under us and heads south. Iowa Interstate approaches on the north side of the tracks as we head here towards the Horton area and what is the Horton subdivision. So just outside of Fall River and Sage, the Kimber sub becomes the Horton sub here for the run west. At this point, there's 3 tracks, but the 2 southern tracks off to the right are actually the Lincoln sub, and these subdivisions actually never interact again. So they'll head here through Horton. There's a number of industries. There's a crossing with the Iowa Interstate as we head towards Deckers and the last modeled area of Calhoun. Hey everyone, as we transition here from Deckers to Calhoun, where we started the video, we're coming to the end. So hopefully you like what you saw. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment. If you don't like what you saw, think we can do better, leave a comment. We're very feedback focused here at the Pibbler, and hope to see you Trainzing soon. So with that, Pibbler out. We'll talk again soon.